So what we've got here is a couple of different differential fluids, 75W90, W stands for winter, and we've got a 85W140. You need to see what the differential recommends. We have this 5-gallon bucket of 80/90, and so this 80/90 is what we're going to be using because that's what it recommends for the vehicle. Some things that you need to be aware of is, does the vehicle have a limited slip differential? So you might need to get some of this to add into the differential with the fluid. If it does not have a limited slip, we don't worry about it. Okay, so we're going to start by breaking the plug loose. So we're going to go on this back side over here. And right here is the plug. So we're going to stick just a regular ratchet in here. We're going to break it loose. Okay, we always want to remove the fill plug first, because if we don't remove the fill plug and we drain the fluid, we're in trouble if this doesn't break off. So always remove the fill plug first. Okay, now we're going to move to the back and take the pan off. Alright, on the pan here, we're going to use the impact to save time. Make sure it's in reverse. If you go in forward direction, you can break these bolts off, and we don't want to do that, so we're going to go reverse. This is a 13mm. We're going to start down here, we're going to loosen these, pop the fluid out. Okay. Make sure you have a drain pan underneath also. If you don't, we'll have some problems, right? Okay. These top ones, we're going to just break them loose here. I could probably just pull that one out because we got that one loose. Okay, so you can see this is attached here, and we've got all the bolts loose and it's stuck on there. So we're going to tap this while we have our hand on it. If it's on here really tight, we might have to try right here, bottom. Then we're going to hold this. Okay. Careful with these brake lines. We're just going to slide it down. Okay, and we're going to clean this pan out, the magnet. All this fluid needs to be removed. You can see it's nice and dirty. And then we can also check the gears here. How's the ring gear? How's the carrier gears? Okay, and the pinion gear. So we'll clean that up and inspect those. You can see there is a gasket here, so we get to have fun cleaning this gasket off. See, some of it's attached to the pan. Some of it's stuck here, so we're going to have to remove all this. We're going to put some silicone on here to replace. Okay, so we're going to clean this off. Try to clean off this gasket. You can use this. Okay. If you have a hard time getting it off, you can use one of those scrubby pads that we'll probably end up using. Okay, so like we talked about with the transmission, we can use this to clean it. So we're just gonna go like this. With some brake clean. Make sure we have no gasket material on there. We want it completely shiny. We don't have to sit there and grind it forever. You can see it's kind of leaked out right there from that gasket before. Okay, so the pan, we're gonna clean the pan, all of that differential fluid. We're getting fine metal shavings out of there. We're gonna blow it dry. Blow this all dry. So, now that we've got all of the gasket material off the pan, we're going to use some Ultra Gray. Ultra means it's sensor safe. So we have a differential speed sensor, something like that. It's going to be safe for the sensor. And I'm just going to go around here and create a bead here. Don't get in the bolt hole at all possible. Just kind of bring it around. Okay. And we're going to smooth this out while we're letting the differential dry with that brake clean. This is dried with compressed air, and I also used a cloth to dry it off. We're just going to seal it up here. So once we've done that, now we're going to spread this evenly, trying not to get it in the hole, but around the hole. Okay? So we're just doing this, getting it nice and thick across there. If you do get some over the hole, you can just take another bolt or something to get that hole cleaned out. The reason why we don't want any silicone in the hole is when we tighten it down, we don't want silicone to push back on the bolt. Because if we do, then it can put stress on the bolt. That one I'm going to have to clean out. even it out here. Okay, so the sealing surface is all along that piece that we cleaned off. Now that one right there, what we can do, we can just take a bowl, kind of go like that, because that silicone will go into the bolt housing and put pressure on it, so we'll want to clean that off. Okay, so after we went through and spread it across here, and now this is dry, and usually there will be some sort of fluid here, maybe down the bottom, because it didn't completely drain. You want to remove that so it's dry. That's the main thing, because if not, then we can create a leak. We'll give that a second here. While I'm looking at that, I can see how to position the pan. You can see right here, this is where the ring gear is. And I can also inspect the spider gears, which are the pinion gears, and they look good. The ring gear, how does that look? And the pinion gear. These are this is our carrier assembly, this big round piece. Looks like there's no issues. There was very little magnet debris with metal shavings. So, okay. So now we're good there for a minute, and this is where we want to get a first stab shot lined up with the bolt holes. Okay, so if we're off, we're moving it. We want to make sure it's lined up as close as possible to the holes. Let's see, right there. Okay, and there we go. And then we're going to start threading those bolts in by hand. So, and if I have some like this, right there, you can kind of see. We'll just take a small screwdriver to try to clean that one out. Okay. All right, let's throw a few of these in. It looks like we got some of that in there, so we're just gonna try to get that out of there. Alright, so let's throw that one in. That long one's going to go up in this one. Where's that long one? Is that the long one? Okay. For a minute. You don't want to cross thread these. If you do, you can break the bolt in the housing, and then you're pulling it all off and doing it all over again. We're just going to drop this down in here. Thread that in a little bit. Okay. At the same time, we're going to put this on the lowest setting. And I'm just going to go till it seats, because we're about 20 foot-pounds. We're doing the star pattern. See how it just barely seated? Okay. Again, I'm not cranking this dude down. Okay. Just pulling that silicone into place. you'll see silicone leak out a little bit here. You can see how it just kind of pushes it out. Okay, now we're going to use the torque wrench. Okay, this is set at 20 foot-pounds. And then we're going to tighten all of the fasteners on the back here to 20. I'm going to get an extension. Tighten these fasteners down, 20 foot-pounds. You can see that impact wrench didn't loose. All it's tight, now we're going to fill it and put the plug in. Now we're going to fill the fluid. It's important that you do this on level ground if you don't have a lift. Like we're getting pretty close there. Here. Okay, leave. Just make sure it's just barely trickling out. Maybe give it another minute or two. And then we're going to thread the plug back in and torque the plug. Most people over tighten these and then you can't get them off, and then you drain the fluid and then you can't put the fluid back in. So always torque this plug, this fill plug. Okay, so again, thread it in by hand. A lot of the differentials now may be aluminum, and the plug is not aluminum in most cases. So we want to make sure that we get this started. And just thread it in with your hand there like that. And then we're going to set the torque wrench to 25 foot-pounds. And then we're going to tighten this. Okay, now most people don't like the fluid, and then when it drips in their garage at home, they freak out. So we're going to clean that with some brake clean. This brake clean will just clean off of here, get all of that brake fluid or that differential fluid off.